Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. What do we have here in ScaleTrains rivet counter? It is the CSX heritage units. The first 5 of them have been released from ScaleTrains. CSX has made a total of 20. ScaleTrains has announced 15 so far, due for delivery throughout the year. These are the first delivered right before the new year to arrive. Through 2025, you'll see at least the other 10 of 15, and then it would just make common sense. I think they've even publicly stated that the last 5 will be announced and released early into 2026. But you may remember a day, I remember a day, when you'd get a new locomotive and hope that maybe it would be made in brass because plastic would be so far behind. Those days are gone, my friends. This thing, these CSX heritage units are not on the rails for long, and they're already to us in plastic. So let's take a look at what you get in the box from these ScaleTrains ES44ACs, or ES44AH, I should say, in the CSX heritage series. One thing to note before we get started is the box. It is significantly different than the ScaleTrains regular boxes. They've made a nice Heritage Series box, as you can see here. Schematic of the ES44AC, all the heritage roads listed on the side. On the back, it's going to be upside down here if I turn it that way, but you got some history and some other information that you are free to pause and read, especially in the higher HD, you can see it better. But pretty nice box overall presentation for these CSX heritage units. We've covered ES44s so many times that this is just going to be basically a show and tell. I'm going to show you each scheme real quick, point out a couple of quick things. We'll double check the actual pull test to see if those have changed, and that'll be about it with a run by. So let's get started. I've chosen the Seaboard system to unbox. It's kind of one of my favorites from a visually aesthetic point of view. I've got an ES44 product manual here with 15 pages of information. Nothing's changed much in that sense from previous ES44 releases. Packaging is the same other than the graphics mentioned on the box. The locomotive comes out of this hard plastic shell called blister packaging. There's a little baggie with extra rotating bearing caps if needed for the trucks, because sometimes they're prone to coming loose and popping out. And then you have the locomotive itself, so let's go ahead and get all of the handrail protection out and take a closer look. Alright, visually stunning locomotive in my opinion. I think they've got the cab window tint just about right. It's nice and dark, but you can still see through if you want to install cab figures. I think this iteration, this revision of the ES44 release with that cab window tint is perfect. Looking up at the front here, you see the high-mounted ditch lights above the anti-climber MU hose there, making a little yellow W shape. Silver-tipped end, accessory hoses, coupler cut lever, separately applied grab irons on the nose. You've got your compartment detail on the side molded in. You've got those rust-colored wheels. There's antenna configuration is correct for the CSX, which is nice. You've got these little tiny separately applied configuration details on the antenna. Dynamic brake fan area with the grills, all that compartment detail. High-mounted horn up here, exhaust. There's the radiator fan grill section, looks really nice. So you can see through that radiator fan grill section, and they appear to be darkened a little bit. And the brake wheel, you see the brake chain, which is still, people ask if it's molded plastic or an actual chain. It's molded plastic. It facilitates easy removal of the shell. You see the rust-colored wheels, which is a newer addition to ScaleTrains models. So if you have like the first run of the ES44AC or one of the first runs, it's not going to have those rust-colored wheels. Those were recently just changed, I believe, in early 2024. And separately applied areas of the radiator fan grille looks nice on the back. You got your stanchion safety chain there, walkway with a little yellow lip on the back here for the drop step area, crossover area for the going between locomotives or locomotives and rolling stock. You see your silver tipped hoses back there, spare knuckle couplers, or coupler knuckles I should say, on the back. More brake chain detail or just chain detail here on the side. And back up to the front, sight glass, emergency shut off on the fuel tank. It's a really highly detailed model. Definitely at the top of their game here on diesels. And there we are back up to the front. So for the other ones, unless I see something blaringly different, you're just going to get a 360. Then we're going to move on with this video because lots of ES44s have been released. I've covered them multiple times. Here's Conrail, another variation, number 1976. They do like UP did, and I believe they put the year that they merged on the locomotive. But the main difference obviously is going to be paint scheme. Antenna configuration's the same. A lot of the details are the same. You can see the FRA mandated reflective striping, not actually reflective, but represented there. A little better on this white sill of this Conrail. But just wanted to give you a 360 of that because people are going to be interested in different models, maybe all of them. But sometimes I've even heard of people getting maybe 14 or 15 saying, I don't like these other schemes, they're ugly or whatever. So we're going to show all of them, and the plan is, barring any unforeseen circumstances, to show all 20 of these on the channel. But there is your Conrail CSX number 1976. Next up is chassis system, another personal favorite of mine. Again, same antenna configurations, obviously a paint scheme variation. Other than that, I'm not sure if any like paint scheme specific detail that may be different, but you can always look and see if you spot something, because people have more discerning views than I do, and some are a little easier to please than I am, so it just depends. But there is chassis system. So just 360 that real quick for you, so that we're not here all day and you're falling asleep during the video, which you might be anyway, because I have a smoothing, sometimes monotone voice. Up next, CSX number 1869, Chesapeake and Ohio. So, again, no details to note that are different, just paint scheme. I believe ScaleTrains mentioned there were some, but I don't see it. Not sure. Have to put them all next to each other, study them, look at the prototype photos. Stuff I wish I had time to do, but do not. You can see the little C&O logo there. And they're real big on the back as well. This is another one of my favorites. It's kind of the rare circumstance where I've seen photographs of the real thing. I've seen one rail side, or track side I should say, but I kind of like the way the models look better. But pretty nice on this Chesapeake in Ohio. There's a quick 360. Last but not least is Baltimore and Ohio. So there is a look at the rear, that big Baltimore and Ohio heraldry, or whatever herald you want to call it, logo. And then we're back to the front here. Moved a little quick for you, so I'll just pan on the side. That compartment detail really pops out. That's nice. I like that separately applied brake chain and chain detail as well. There's your Baltimore and Ohio. Let's get on to a little bit of testing. operation, and we're going to wrap it up. Okay, I'm going to turn on the scale here, check the weight, just to give you an update on these locomotives. Almost 1.5 pounds, that's 23.2 ounces, 658 grams, 1 pound, 7.2 ounces. So there is the updated weight for the latest run. Updated pull test on these, showing about, it's peaking out at about 3.75 ounces. It's about 52, 55 freight cars each. So not bad. With 2 you can pull a prototypically long consist, 2 or 3. All right, I've swapped out again to Chesapeake and Ohio. We're going to hit F8, which is start up on ESU LOKSound decoders, which these have if you get the DCC and sound version. Alright, there's your startup sound. Prime mover sounds a little lower volume than the previous runs maybe. Not sure about that. The sound features should be the same functions. I think they have 31 functions listed as the last time we reviewed ES44s. Headlight obviously, ditch lights, which oscillate with the horn. You've got walkway lighting, you can see peeking out there in between these 2 stanchions right here. Right there. And you can also hear the bell here, separate. So there's your sounds. Operation is still smooth. There's 1 speed step. Usually less than a scale mile an hour on the last run. Same with reverse. I think we talked about those rust painted wheels. They have rust painted wheels on these models. So overall, pretty nice locomotive. That's the extent of what I wanted to show you on these because we've covered them so many times. But if you want the full review, check out previous releases of the ES44AH. Even earlier in 2024 and late 2023, I believe I've got a full test of these models. All right, let's wrap up this review with some final thoughts. Well, I don't know how to squeeze all of these in one shot to kind of give you my final thoughts, but this is the best I'm going to do. Usually I try to be head on, but the real action's on the side. A lot of people make fun of the fact if they ever do a meetup, like they did a Streamliners at Spencer or the NS Heritage units, you're going to have all the same nodes. So I try to give you the side view of these where all the colorful action is on the paint schemes. But overall, the model is practically the same as previous ScaleTrains models. Recent improvements include those rust-colored wheels. And I think the drive is smoother than previous runs. I didn't have any lurching with these where I've had some in previous runs. So it seems like the drive mechanism was improved from run to run, either intentionally or unintentionally, I don't know. But overall, very solid locomotive, the best representation of the ES44AH there is in HO scale at the moment for these NS Heritage units. CSX Heritage units. So with that said, I'll leave you with a power move because it's holidays and I'm trying to kind of rush through some videos to spend time with family. Has a lot of stuff delivered, so I'll leave you with a power move of all 5 of these. That's my lazy way of getting all 5 in a run by, but we'll see you next time right here on the channel. Take care.